this is my outdoor beer fridge, except it's the outdoor veg fridge now. In the winter, you've got so many vegetables that just don't need to live in the fridge.
Why?
So they are in a crate with a lid.
Right.
And they actually keep loads better than they would do in the
I was
fridge.
about to say, they all look pretty healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long have they been in there for?
Well, they're mostly fresh from Wednesday.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, this is the right temperature for veg to be at most of the time, and you can go anything up to about 10 degrees. It's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some stock. So I'm going to preheat the oven. It's really important to roast the bones before you start because that's what's going to release all the flavour. Slice an onion.
Do you want to talk us through the vegetables and stuff that you
absolutely. So what I'm going to do is this bit is just to prepare the stock for the roasting, the bones for roasting. You don't really need to take the skin off, but it's kind of because you're going to roast the onion. You don't really want it to be. You want the paper on there really. But this bit's the kind of this is the quick bit. Literally, I do this every week. This is something that happens all the time. I never don't have stock in the fridge. It's the basis of so many things. So what I'm doing, just roughly chopping them up. That's just going to go on there. That's just to stop. It adds flavour, but it's also to stop the underside of the carcass from sticking to the roasting dish. I like to do it upside down so that the fat kind of renders out of it. This is a duck carcass. I picked this up in St Nick's Market, £1.50 for a carcass. And you'll see you get loads of fat off it as well, which is fab because then that means you get something to roast a potato. So I'm just going to do that. I mean, actually no, I'm going to put a bit of pepper on it just because it tastes nice. That's it. That is. In it goes. Now that's going in there for half an hour. So.
What do we preheat the oven to?
As high as it goes on mine. It's a net oven. It's got this weird Serco fan temperature scale. So in a normal oven, I'd probably put it in at about 240, and it will go in the pressure cooker. And it'd be really nice for people to see that pressure cookers aren't scary.
I've never actually heard of a pressure cooker.
Pressure cookers. Well, in the 70s, pressure cookers were terrifying. They used to have this like terrifying knobbly thing that looked like a hand grenade that used to sit on the top. I'm not kidding. It was terrifying. What we've got going into the stock once the bones are ready, we've got some seaweed. This is just kelp. This is from the Chinese supermarket. It's the best place to get this sort of thing because it's really cheap. Most places have a Chinese supermarket. If you don't have one, then you can buy it online. This is dried mushrooms. These are shiitake mushrooms. Any dried mushrooms are going to impart an amazing flavour. They also have a particular sort of phytonutrient which is really beneficial for the immune system, really strongly fantastic evidence against tumours and that sort of thing. You also have some sun-dried tomatoes, which are salty little critters, and that means that you don't need to add any extra salt to the stock. They also, again, it just makes a more rounded flavour, which is really delicious. So I'm also going to put in a carrot, because it will just, again, a bit of roundness, bit of sweetness, and a little bit of turmeric because it's amazingly good for you. So we've already got the onion, that's roasting off as well, and that means instead of if you put a raw onion into stock, it's got a really sharp, almost vinegary taste to the stock. But so you do need to cook your onion before you use to make stock, but you kind of already done it with the roasting the bones anyway, so you know it all works really quickly together. Right, so the duck is just literally half an hour. So there you go. If only you could smell how good that is. So I'm just going to leave that to sun just until the fat stops hissing away there.
It does smell really good.
It does smell amazing. There we go. It's just, there you go, DIY goose fat this is. Now, it's really important actually that you roast things in a solid fat. So olive oil is for dressings, it is not for cooking. Even though people think it's high in oleic acid, which is a monounsaturated, but still an awful lot of polyunsaturates, and when you heat them, they turn into trans fats. So I'm just going to lift that out, put that in there. I'm just going to kind of break it with the tongs a bit, That just helps to release the flavour from the bones, and it also means that it's not sticking up out of the water. And I'm going to pour the onions in there. Get all the gubbins, everything as much as you possibly can needs to come off that. And then that's, I mean, it doesn't really matter how many you put in. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, it really doesn't really matter. 3 or more is fine. Some thyme. Thyme is really good flavour with basically all bones, and the mushrooms. So now it's just a question of getting it up to pressure. You put it on full heat to get it up to pressure. And then once the little knobbly thing comes up, you turn it down to 1/3. And I'm going to put it on for a couple of hours, just to kind of do its thing. You can do it in less time, you know, and if you don't have a pressure cooker, you can do it in a slow cooker, or you can do it in a pot and just do it overnight. You need 8 hours if you're not doing it in a pressure cooker. But as I say, if you did it for an hour, it would be fine. So the stock is now, it's been boiling for over, what, about an hour and a half or so. I actually need it now. I've taken it off the heat, wait for this thing to go down, this little knobbly doodah. It basically, you can't open it until this little knobble's gone down. But what we can do, we can release the steam quickly, like that. So that will just, there you go, it's dropped down now. So that is the beautiful stock. It is so gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. It smells amazing and it's so clear. It's so good for you. It's delicious just as a drink. I mean, I literally do have it as a drink. I usually put a bit of chopped coriander and a few slices of chilli in it, and just have it as a drink. If I've got some left over after I've decanted it, then I will, yeah, just drink it. Really nice as pho. If we've got time, well, I'll definitely show you how to make pho at some point, because it's such a nice, quick, easy tea. But we're going to use this for rabbit, so that's why I wanted to use it.